Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to my African and Black community spread far and wide. Wherever you may be, we wish you peace, love, blessings, um, more power, more strength, more life, more love. This is your show, so please feel free to send us your burning issues and topics for discussion. And if you'd like to share your story, please email us at mystory um, at blacktabletalkshow.co.uk. Welcome to all nations. Thank you for joining us. We hope you've had a lovely season. And before we move forward, I'm going to move on to some disclaimers. Um, as previously advised, if you'd like to see the full breakdown of disclaimers, please see episode 1, where we fully break down the reasons behind some of our disclaimers. So first and foremost, this is a show specifically aimed at the African and Black community, in order to help us get to a position of strength and power that we can have the same leverage as other nations. We do welcome all nations as long as it's in line with our mission. Two is I am not a professional historian or a legal advisor, and any information that I share with you on the show should be independently researched. Research is an important key to what we're trying to achieve here. Three is while this platform does acknowledge, honor, and respect of what the Black and African cultures have had to go through is historical, i.e., slavery, this platform is about finding ways to assist progression for the future, for the generations that exist and the generations to come. Four is that I have multifocal tics, Susie, and every now and again there may be a bit of distraction by her, by the tick. I call her Susie, so hopefully that doesn't cause too much issue. If you have any, don't be alarmed. I'll move forward as swift as I can. So I'm just going to give a few updates before we move into today's topics. First and foremost, my healthy living and plant-based diet. How is that going? Considering I've had a lifetime of unhealthy eating, I would say that my journey is going fairly well. It could be a lot better. I have, for the most part, cut out meats, fish, but I did have a little bit of the old chicken over the season, and I'm guessing I need to learn more recipes to make things a bit more exciting. But all in all, I think it's going well. There's definitely an improvement in terms of how my system's maneuvering and getting rid of the wastage. I'm quite happy with that. Overall, I'm feeling a little bit, much better in terms of energy levels and whatnot, but I do feel that there's a lot of work that still needs to go in, and I'm hoping soon enough it will have more of a drastic change upon my health as well. The court case, there's been no progress since the last show. I've had no response from the defendants or from the court. There's still approximately 10 days, maybe about 8 to 10 days before they're due to respond. I'm eagerly awaiting and hoping that they do respond. However, that's not guaranteed. And as I said before, seeing as in no progress, it looks like it will be heading to court, of which I'm waiting for a date for confirmation. Our petition is still at 47. And it's important to remember that our mission is to build a platform large enough to create a change within our communities. And to do this, we require a minimum of 100,000 followers. Now, I say 100,000 followers purely because in order for a petition to be heard in Parliament, you need 100,000 signatures. You need 10,000 signatures just to get an acknowledgement, but that doesn't hold much weight. So most definitely, 100,000 signatures is necessary, and for that reason, I suggest that well, I've created this platform to ease us along with that process as well as other processes. So please, if you are here with us today, if you've been watching, I've seen quite a few of you interacting. Thank you very much by watching the videos. Please share our videos, like and subscribe up to our channel so that you could be the first to be aware of any petitions or any events or anything that we have going on. We do have a lot of stuff coming up. Um, Yes, so please share, subscribe. It's absolutely free to share and to subscribe. So please go ahead and support the mission by subscribing. Hit the subscribe button down there. So, like I said, if you want to see the full disclaimer, please go to the first episode. Uh, Today, I'd like to wish everybody happy Kwanzaa. Today is Kwanzaa. It's a cultural holiday founded by an American activist in 1966. The name of him, he was Maluna Karenga. And the mission that he had in mind when he created Kwanzaa was to celebrate family, unity, African culture within the African American community. Now, I bring this, even though it's the African American community, we fully celebrate Christianity and the Christmas and all other cultural, religious festivities that are not really aimed at our culture. And I think it's very important that we acknowledge festivals or seasons like this because it's specifically about us and to help towards the mission which we all need to get to the goals of which I have been speaking about within the show. So before we move forward today, I definitely would like to discuss Kwanzaa. There's 7 principles of Kwanzaa, and I'd like to share that with you. So the first principle is unity, and that umoja, and that's to strive and maintain for unity in the family, community, nation, and race. The second principle, Kujichaguila, which is self-determination, and the ethos behind this principle is to define ourselves, the Black community, name ourselves, and create for ourselves, as well as to speak for ourselves. Uji is collective work and responsibility, and the idea behind this was to build and maintain community together and to make our community's problems our problems and to solve them together. Yeah. You then have Unjama. Let's get that for you. And this means to build and maintain our own stores, shops, and other businesses and to profit from them together. So holistically, we all profit as one. So we do for ourselves, right? Then you have Nia, which is purpose. And the idea behind this principle is to make our collective vocation the building and developing of our community in order to restore our people to their traditional greatness. We then have Kumba, which is for creativity. The principle behind this was to do always as much as we can to leave our community more beautiful and beneficial than when we inherited it. That's powerful. Yeah. And then we have Imani, which is faith, and to believe with all our hearts in our people and the righteousness and the victory of our struggle. I want that one to resonate with you. To believe in with all our hearts and in our people and in the righteousness and victory of our struggle. So, in addition to the 7 principles, there are 7 symbols that's assigned to each of those principles. And I think I'm not going to share that here because I think it's worth you doing your independent research to gain this knowledge of such an important event that was created for our enlightenment and unity. Um, so again, I wish you all happy Kwanzaa, and I urge you to enlighten our children. Uh, to enlighten our children, yes. Um, Speaking of children, um, I want to take this opportunity again to urge all parents of black children in the UK to please follow the Black Child Agenda. This is not a paid advertisement. They have no idea that I'm even suggesting this, but I have done research on them. I've been following them for a while, and they have great platforms for parents of African Caribbean of children of African and Caribbean descent. They also have a program to assist people that are trying to homeschool their children because they're not in line or do not in disagreement. They are in disagreement with the current events that are taking place in schools with regards to teachings and sexuality. So like I said, Black Child Agenda. They're doing a great job at the moment. Please follow them. And I'm going to move on swiftly to. Okay, so sorry, I wanted to break down a bit more of what was going on in the school systems and why we feel it's not suitable to the Black community. First and foremost, we respect individual choices, cultures, and beliefs, and we believe that we should live and let live. However, living does not agree to the penetration of our children. And again, I've said it before, it is very important to take a grip of what this society is putting into our children. Our children are our future, and we can't afford for them to lose our culture, our struggle, and the aims and objectives we have for our futures. Right? So the current acceptance of alternate gender teachings within schools are not only a massive negative to the Black culture, but to mankind in general. And it should be halted with immediate effect, because our children are impressionable and are being given information they are not able to process. I say generations and generations of individuals have been born and bred in a society where even speaking about sex was unheard of. And despite being very quiet about sexual topics, these people, so Windrush Generation, generations before us, we're quite balanced and we knew exactly who we were and what we were. Yes, we had a notion of what was expected of us in society. However, that made society quite balanced. Everyone knew their role, everybody knew if they were man or woman. No one was actually confused. Am I man? Am I woman? What's expected of me? How do I behave? But with all the teachings, it creates enlightenment in children that they're just not ready for. Today, we have all this sexual information being pumped and drilled into our children, and yet we have a generation that are so confused um, with regards to not only their personal sexuality, but with also what it means to be a man or a woman. And having said that, if this life is what you choose for yourself or your children, that is more than okay. And in the name of live and let live, you should do just as you have been doing and proceed with what you are doing. However, this change should not be imposed on everyone, and our whole educational system should not be disrupted just to entertain a new notion, and our children should not be collateral damage. Each individual has their own kids for that. And for this, I say that we need to have individual lanes within schools. So if they are persistent on having gender teachings and sexual teachings and all these extracurricular activities that we as a Black community do not agree with, then it's only right that we stand up and fight for us to have some kind of intervention during the times that these lessons are being taught within schools. I first and foremost would say homeschooling is the best advice for everybody in a day like today. However, I understand that's not possible. So the next best thing is to fight for our rights to ensure that our children have a space to learn their history or their traditions while the school is um, proceeding and giving the teachings requested by people that do agree with the gender movements. Okay, so again, I bring to your attention the importance of creating your own education, retail, health industries. At present, it seems impossible, but the foundations are currently in the making, and that's why we're actually having this discussion right now. Um, the time is here, and I feel a shift in society. I'm sure you feel it too. How do we keep the fire burning, and how do we keep the heat rising? Is the question. Yeah. Religion. It should be noted that religion is nothing more than a socially accepted cover for cultural differences. The label of religion affords communities the rights and respect of public holidays and the ability to plead discrimination in certain settings. It allows cultures to command respect from other communities by being in a bracket where their fundamental rights are protected by the laws of the UK, where we are now. Um, this may be an important move to think about for us, purely because if you know the Muslims and Indians, they all have their own platforms. So you've got Ramadan, you've got Diwali. These are public holidays. They're well respected, and it creates an environment where they can get together and practice their cultural beliefs, despite the overall concern being a religious factor. Underneath the surface, there's more than just religion going on. Um, and so I do believe it is something that we need to consider, um, as it will allow us the same graces that are afforded to other communities. While I was drafting this content, it had me to consider the concept of Rastafari, and as part of that process, I did a little bit of research, and I've come to develop so much respect for the movement. And it's not to say I didn't respect them before, but now I understand it from a different point of view. Um, I understand that the whole importance or the whole purpose of Rastafari, the creation of Rastafari, was to give us just that community setting where we can achieve stuff in society under the guise of religion, where we could be respected and our rights and our histories can be brought forth. And Rastafari does that very, very well. I really have previously looked into the 12 tribes of Judah, and I recommend that that's a good place for anybody to start if they're willing to research. Religion is personal preference, so I'm not trying to go into the personal preference of um, of what people should and shouldn't do. I'm just suggesting that this is a platform where we can embrace, gain our change, gain our holidays, get recognition for things and practices that was important to us as a culture. Um, I would also like to point out that we tend to, as a people, get caught up in the nitty gritty of issues rather than look at the bigger picture. So, an example of this would be wearing dreads or not eating the meat, the Rasta liberty, and that you need to be identified as a Rasta or as Rastafari. Um, I say that these things, yes, there are principles to all religions, but if you look at Muslims, you will have a Muslims do not drink alcohol in general, and if they come across a Muslim that does drink alcohol, which they do, they're simply called a bad Muslim. They're not said, "Oh, you're not a Muslim." They're not put out of the society. They're not insulted. They're still embraced, but they're embraced as a bad Muslim, and they're still welcomed in their community and in their settings to worship Allah. And I suggest that these are the kind of steps that we need to take. Let's not be so judgmental on personal choice. Let's think about the bigger picture and how we can bring things forward. Um, good. So, where do we start? It's all good and well saying we should do this and we should make platforms available, and but it's hard because everybody's in their own pocket. So I'm in a pocket here, you've got loads of people on different spheres, but the start begins with you, it begins with us, it begins with each individual. And you could start now. It costs nothing to start. Simple things of correcting a brother or sister when they're speaking negatively about their own. Turn that negative into a positive. And if you can't turn it around and make it into a positive action, do not add any wood to the fire. Let negative words fall on deaf ears. They have no place with us. We've had enough of this. Be about it and greet your fellow black men and women as you pass them in the streets. Create the love and the pride, that the well-being, that well-being. Awaken that proud to be black. Trust me, it catches on. Before you know it, everyone, including Rishi, will want to be part of that movement. You should know that what we do is loved very much and imitated, despite hating everything about us. It's quite confusing, but it's a fact. And I say we capitalize on that fact. That's to our benefit. Just love one another, Don't be disheartened by the one or two that ignore or don't respond to the embrace. Their hearts will eventually soften. We've been through a lot as a people, and we all heal differently. But we need to start and keep it going. I ask that you share and promote the work of your brothers and sisters and speak of your people with great esteem. Teach other cultures how to teach us, how to treat us, by being that example. Celebrate black ambition, black survivoration, black love, black humor, create more create more black traditions in the memory of those who passed, and create the world we want to see our children live in. I'm sorry for the struggles of our black people. I love my people, and my biggest wish is that we start loving ourselves and promoting and loving and celebrating each other's existence and innate drive and desire we have for success. We are a strong people, and with powers many of us have not come to terms with, but we will. So I'll need to say that again for more gumph behind that. We have powers that many of us have not come to terms with. Yes, don't even know. But the time is coming and you will. I ask that you embrace each other, love, celebrate, and uplift each other. Stick together and teach each other how to treat us. We each have a deep-seated strength, and each individual can make a change, but together we can change the world. As one people, we can make great things happen, massive things happen. If you didn't know, the God within you lives. Trust in that, believe in that, research that, love that. That's your being, it's your existence. And again, I ask you, just have a look at the 12 tribes of Judah. Yes, today is a holiday, so this is going to be a briefly short show. Well, it is a short show. I really wanted to share the principles of Kwanzaa with you, and hopefully create some kind of enlightenment. Kwanzaa is running from the 26th of December till the 1st of January. It's for 7 days. Take a look at the 7 principles. Take a look at the symbols that go with it, and ultimately have a wonderful Kwanzaa. Enjoy your final celebration on the 1st of January. And if you'd like, next week we'll be back with our stories and our stories, and we've also got Mr. Junior Everett joining us from the UK to discuss his project that he's got going on in Jamaica, as well as his mentoring in the UK. I'm Lou, your host. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you next week on Monday at 8 p.m. Have a good day. Good night.